Joined, as we usually are on this Tuesday, by Bill King. Bill, what's up, man? How's this Tuesday going for you?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Man, life's good. What's a typical Tuesday for, in the summertime? What, you got something on the grill, kind of chilling out, getting ready for college baseball, super regionals? How's it looking for you this week?
Well, we cooked a lot of brisket and ribs over the weekend, so it's leftovers for a few days so we can calm down a little bit. And, man, so much fun baseball over the weekend into Monday night. And the Vols are traveling there to take on an outstanding Arkansas baseball program and team, and a lot of good stuff.
We'll touch a little baseball with you. I know Phil's usually the baseball guy, but I got a couple things for you. One, the Tennessee catcher that will be suspended for the first game, and then also two, the Duke player. I don't know if you saw that, but they have a prop helmet. They give it to him, then he comes out and gets suspended. To me, that goes on the head coach right there. Like, I don't need any prop helmets in my dugouts. That just ridiculous. Kind of, what are your thoughts on that rule, and how would you approach that situation?
Yeah, that one seems petty, no doubt, and I would take a look at criticizing the coach. And now this Duke program, by the way, is a very good baseball program. They always have dudes at Duke. And then in Tennessee's case, it was a real chippy game with Wake Forest. A lot of chirping back and forth. 10 people said something to their catcher and got ejected, meaning he will not be able to play in the first game Saturday against Arkansas. He's a catcher for them that's had an average year. They don't have somebody better waiting, though, and they'll play another young guy named Stone Lawless who's gotten some reps this year, but that kind of hurt them a little bit.
Let's do a surface dive on this Tennessee-Arkansas series. We don't really have to delve in it too deep, but what are your when you're looking at this matchup and Tennessee, man? I actually went to the game when Tennessee came up and played the Hogs a few weeks ago, and one of the things I noticed, Bill, was Tennessee can put bat on ball. They were hitting it to us. They were making it easy on us, but that kind of scares me a little bit because they do have a little firepower. What would be kind of the key if you were to give me one or two that say, this is what happens, Tennessee can win this series if they do what, and Arkansas will win this series if they do what?
Well, first of all, Arkansas has been a better team this year. And whether it was head-to-head, winning 2 out of 3, or just the overall season to date. But Tennessee is playing loose. And I'm not saying Arkansas isn't, but they're kind of in the position of nothing to lose. They're on the road, an incredibly difficult place to go, and certainly steal a series where it's do or die. Very, very difficult. And I know Tennessee won game 1 in the last series, and then Arkansas won the next 2 to take the series. If Tennessee wins game 1, I think that's big this time. I think that they have a better chance of closing it out. Now, winning that game 1, and it's probably going to be Marcus Phillips because they used Liam Doyle in relief last night. But I like their chances better if they can win game 1. That's not a prediction because they're going to be an underdog to win game 1. Arkansas just needs to play the baseball they've been playing. This Arkansas program, to me, hits the ball better this year than the last couple of years. This team absolutely hits it better. And to me, that's the difference. They've always got outstanding pitching, and nothing's changed there. But I just think they hit the ball a lot better than they've been.
Yeah, that last game of the regional when they had 20 combined strikeouts that was just that's getting it done. If you look around the other series, Bill, and as an Arkansas fan, and I obviously I'm looking at that series at first and foremost, but when you look around at some of these, which is another series that kind of tickles your fancy?
Well, I think the Coastal Carolina team that won the championship in 2016. So this is a program that's used to winning. They're really good this year. They go on the road to Auburn. Auburn's got a player, Ike Irish, who's going to be a top 5 pick, we're told, in the draft coming up. That's a fun one. I think Miami, which struggled mightily early in the year and now just won that regional in Hattiesburg, going to Louisville is a very interesting series. Louisville's always had a good program Coach McDonald. And that one jumps out at me, too. Vanderbilt and Texas not being there jumps out at me, too. Your top 2 seeds. Those are a couple of them.
So I was looking at, I know this is, I'm going to go over to a little college football with you, Bill. And I was looking at the schedule, and, I know it's way too early. It's 88 days before Arkansas Razorbacks kick off their first game. So we got a lot. It's talking season. When I was looking at this Texas at Ohio State matchup on August 30th, and now both teams, it's such an early game, and the strength of schedule, if they go unblemished and, one loss isn't going to hurt these teams, they'll still make the playoff 12. What to expect, though, this Texas-Ohio State? Little change on Ohio State, just won the national championship. Texas went into Michigan last year and kind of put it on them. Texas is going to have as close as we get to royalty in America, the Manning name would be royalty. So they got a Manning running the show there. Is it kind of Texas? You see this could be Texas's year? How do you see that first matchup going?
I would probably like whoever's hosting the game, and in this case, it's Ohio State. And you got 2 quarterbacks. Julian Sayin is a year-time Arch Manning, but another 5-star quarterback. Arch Manning, everybody knows his story. Those are the 2 quarterbacks in this game. And that'll be our first real repetition eyeball look we get on these players. They neither one of these kids have played real repetition. They play backup stuff. Maybe Arch a little bit in the running game, but I'm talking about where it's all on you. It's your job. But the difference in this game, no matter where it's played, is Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love, the wide receiver at Ohio State, just a true sophomore coming up, is a generational talent. He's not just another All-American receiver. He's a nightmare. And to me, and I know receivers sometimes we might not pick out as the most dominant position on the field, his talent is. And he's a matchup nightmare for anybody in the college game. You're not going to match up no matter what you do. To me, that's the difference, and the home field.
No, I think I'm leaning your way with who has the home field advantage. All right, I want to ask you a little question about Notre Dame. Do they come back down a little? I think anytime a Notre Dame team goes 10-2, I think it'd be hard to keep them out of the playoff 12. They start at Miami. I think A&M is going to get them back this year. I do. I think A&M will get them back this year. They have to come to Arkansas. You never know if Arkansas's, the Travis Williams dials something up. We had a Connor O'Hara on yesterday. He thinks Boise State's going to beat Notre Dame this year. Notre Dame, they got a new quarterback. They win 10. They in the playoff 12, or they kind of slide back down this year?
Well, you're right. They open up at Miami and then home to A&M, and there's some other games. It's not the toughest schedule in the world, but those two to open are very difficult. But this is their best roster.
Mm-hmm.
And I think since those early 90s teams. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to win every game or I'm going to make some kind of crazy prediction. I think they're more of a threat to win it than they've been in decades. What that means, we'll find out. C.J. Carr, another 5-star quarterback, is their guy. Now, they haven't announced that, but that's what's going to happen. They have the best running back room in the country.
Love the running back.
Running back room is crazy deep and crazy good. Receiving core has been rather average for a while. This year, it should be a lot better. O-line is in as good a shape as any's in the country. They have done a marvelous job, and they've been well coached on defense. They're losing some big bodies on the D-line they've got to replace. And they portaled that, and they signed some big bodies. They should be okay. They're probably not as good there at deep tackle. I think bare minimum it's a 10-2 team. And you're right, they're in at 10-2.
Hey, we've had a little talk last week, a little bit. We're kind of all over the place. As the SEC go to a 9-game conference schedule, the Big Ten's already at a 9-game conference schedule. Talk about an SEC versus Big Ten annual matchup where you just slot it. Who finished first? They play the cross opponent. Who finished second? They play the cross. Who finished second in that league? Do you see an SEC and I know we do it in baseball and basketball. Do you see the SEC and Big Ten settling on something in the next couple of years where they do have a matchup like that each year?
What I can't understand is where's all this going to fit?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure they're going to 9 games. But let's just play that particular opinion. Let's say they do go to 9 games, and then the 2 best are going to play in an SEC championship game. So that's a 10th one. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to schedule some rivalry games with the Big Ten. I don't understand that. Where is all that going to go on the calendar? I think that's a lot of talking. The 8 versus 9, literally the momentum on that topic has changed. It feels like 100 times. Mm-hmm. And I think right now, it's back to they're leaning to 8 games. Now, I'm not saying that's the end game, and that's the way it's going to end up. But I think just looking at the overall bigger picture, first of all, we know for sure that committee doesn't care whether the SEC plays 8 or 9 games. It does not matter at all. So it hasn't hurt them, and I'm not sure they're going to play a 9th game right now. Now, the one reason to do it is ESPN would provide more revenue for that additional league game. And that'd be a nice little payday. But other than that, I don't see any advantage to playing another league game.
I agree with you. You look back last year to that Kentucky beating Ole Miss. When you play another SEC game, that means half your the people in your standings in your conference are going to take another L, and I don't know that helps the right. SEC. I get what you're saying. And then one last thing, we'll finish with this. There's been a little bit of a talk about the 5+11 playoff model going from 12 to 16. Do you think, is that a model you like? What do you, the next time we change, is it going to be to a 16-team playoff?
In 2026, it's going to be 16 teams. Mm-hmm. Now, they might not have formally announced that, but I think that's 100%. The format is what's in question. Automatic qualifiers was, even though the rest of the leagues, other than the SEC, Big Ten, were against it, that was the leader in the clubhouse because they've got all the power. Seems like at the SEC meetings this last week in Sandestin at the Hilton, the coaches and the commissioner got together, and it sounds like they want a 5-11 format. And if you go back and look in history, many years, the SEC would have more than 4 in a 16-teamer, which means the automatic qualifier might hurt the SEC. Now, again, that's projecting based on history. Sometimes that could be dangerous. But I do think that at the moment that the 5-11 format is the leader. I really don't care, but I probably, if you said, Bill, you got to make a decision, I'd probably go with the 5-11 if I'm running the SEC. Now, it doesn't mean everybody else in America likes that idea. And because if you're a lower level league, if you're the ACC or the Big 12, you probably like the automatic qualifiers 2 each. You may not get more than 1 if you don't have it. And there is talk that the Big Ten does not like the 5-11 format either. There's one area where they disagree.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.